Oh, hi. Hi, sorry. I forgot. I'm supposed to be recording an English lesson. I was a little bit lost. I was reading Jaws and I lost track of time. I'm so sorry. I was completely lost in the story. It was really, really good. Okay, sorry about that. Hi. I'm going to talk to you about stories today. Not about Jaws. A little bit horrible. I'm going to talk to you about a different story. And I'm going to tell you about your first English challenge for this half term. So we're going to be looking at stories. We're going to be looking at how writers set the scene in stories, how writers describe settings, place and time in which the story is happening. So I'm going to talk to you about a very well-known and famous book that I'm sure you will have heard of called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. Some of you may have read the book or may have listened to the book. Uh, or you might know the one of the two films of the book. Both of them very good. Never quite decide which is the best one, but they're both very good. So we're going to be having a look at how writers describe settings, place, and time, and how that's really really important in putting us as the reader into the story. And then I'm going to talk to you about your challenge for this week. So I'm going to start by reading you a short extract from the beginning of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is a great story, one of my favourite books from my childhood, but one I love to go back to. The clue's in the name, really, isn't it? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So the setting for the story is a chocolate factory. So I'm going to read you a description of the setting from the very beginning of the story, and then I'll talk to you about your challenge for this week. I haven't told you yet about the one awful thing that tortured little Charlie, the lover of chocolate, more than anything else. This thing for him was far, far worse than seeing slabs of chocolate in the shop windows or watching other children munching bars of creamy chocolate right in front of him. It was the most terrible, torturing thing you could imagine, and it was this. In the town itself, actually within sight of the house in which Charlie lived, there was an enormous chocolate factory. Just imagine that. And it wasn't simply an ordinary enormous chocolate factory either. It was the largest and most famous in the whole world. It was Wonka's factory, owned by a man called Mr. Willy Wonka, the greatest inventor and maker of chocolates that there has ever been. And what a tremendous, marvelous place it was. It had huge iron gates leading into it, and a high wall surrounding it, and smoke belching from its chimneys, and strange whizzing sounds coming from deep inside it. And outside the walls, for half a mile around in every direction, the air was scented with a heavy, rich smell of melting chocolate. Twice a day, on his way to and from school, little Charlie Bucket had to walk right past the gates of the factory, and every time he went by, he would begin to walk very, very slowly, and he would hold his nose high in the air and take long, deep sniffs of the gorgeous chocolatey smell all around him. Oh, how he loved that smell! And oh, how he wished he could go inside the factory and see what it was like. So, that was just a short extract describing the factory near our hero Charlie's house. Um, so what I would like you to do is perhaps have another listen to my reading of the story and use all of those descriptions to help you to draw a picture of the chocolate factory. So Roald Dahl uses some lovely descriptions to present the setting in this story, and I'd like you to use those to give you some ideas for your drawing. So when you draw your factory, I would like to see these huge iron gates, the high walls surrounding the factory, smoke rising from the chimney. Imagine the tall chimney stretching up into the sky and the smoke pouring out from it. There are some other lovely descriptions in this which describe the sounds that the factory makes, the strange whizzing sounds from deep inside it. and the air being full of the smell of melting chocolate. Now, what you could do is see if you can, in your drawing, you might be able to represent that smell and those sounds somehow. You might think of certain patterns that might represent the sound, or you could use words coming out of the factory to represent the sound. What you could do as well is perhaps use some words or phrases from the description in the story and label your factory with some of those things as well. If you're a little bit stuck for ideas, one thing that I'd suggest you might do is see if you can watch the trailer for the film, because there are some lovely shots of the chocolate factory, which might give you some great ideas. If you want to be really ambitious, rather than just drawing the factory, you could have a go at making it. You could collect some materials, some junk, some recycled objects, and see if you can have a go at building a model of the factory. So I hope you enjoy this challenge. When you've done it, when you've done your drawing or made your model, it would be brilliant if you could put your work onto Evidence for Learning so that I can have a look at it and give you some feedback. And I'd love to see some of the creative work that you've done. So I hope you enjoy the challenge, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.